There has been a pack added. A pack added to this game. I gotta turn the music down a little bit for myself, which is not very loud to begin with, but whatever. The game that has been added, I can't see now. The game that pack that has been added is Life and Death. And you know, I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo, guys. I have a fascination with that and the Grim Reaper and stuff like that. So, you know, obviously I have to smash the Grim Reaper so that we can make our actual sim. So that we can be a Grim Reaper. Because apparently, from what I understand, I don't know a whole lot about pack, okay? But we have to be a Grim Reaper. We have to. We're gonna make my previous, the original, the OG OC that I was supposed to be. Which, hello, also had, like, the short hair part. That design was curly, and the black and white was flipped. But it was the same concept. Some things never change. There's also supposed to be a skull eye. Anyway, this will be who knows? Fem frame. What is that? This will be our mother. Cheryl Hadley. Our mother, Cheryl Hadley, who eventually dies by something. Who knows? Okay, this one. She wants a 5-star property owner. Do I have rent? Oh no. I hear I haven't played this since that came out. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, let's make mom. She's gonna have, she's gonna be what our features are. So we gotta fix this. All of it. All of it. Ghostly pale. We could be tan. Okay, that's not tan. This is not. Randomize the skin tone. Burp, 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 burp. Okay, this is mom. She can't be blonde. We want to have dark hair. We could have gray hair. I don't think that translates to the toddlers, though. Can you take this off? Thank you. God. And what are these eyebrows? It looks scary. Yeah, no. I feel like those are okay. It's just, can you... yeah, that's fine. How do you get half color? Mods. There's some hairstyles that have split colors. Like 2. Like, this one has colors, but, like, you don't get to pick the secondary color. It just is random as shit. So, like, even if we found a split dye, it would be the wrong colors. Braids? Oops. I mean to give you a thick neck. My bad. No. She looks like Morticia now. That'd be cool. Do we want to make mom Morticia? I bet this was supposed to be Wednesday. Inspired. See, the other one looks more Morticia than this does. Also, do you see this? This is barely two-toned. Doesn't count. Why is your ear like that? Oh. Can I borrow this? There. Is the other one clipping now? Okay, good. Back to the hair. The way they shade this, it makes it look old. It's not white, it's dark gray. Let's look for a different texture. Whoops. Did that apply? Oh, that's new. Where's the filter? There it is. I haven't played in a while, guys. Afro texture. There we go. See, this is supposed to be the main color. You put that as the dyed color, and this is black. This... Oh, you make no sense. But if you go to white, that's the dyed color. Why? Why? Why even? Yeah, what the fuck? Why are they all square? What is this? Ugh. You guys piss me off. I hate you guys. I wouldn't call that afro texture, I'm just saying. This looks like tentacles. Should we do the buns? I feel like the buns feel childish, but we'll do that. Let's fix your fashion. This is terrible. We're going to be goth. Goth mom. Hence why she wants to smash the Grim Reaper. Duh. Is this solid? Is there a solid black of this? Muscle. I don't like your voice. That's better. Na, 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 da, da. Sure. See, she was... So you're gonna kill your neighbors to summon Grim? We have one we're going to destroy, and it's Mortimer Goth. Mortimer Goth. Or his wife. That'd be fun. What are those? Well, I guess you already picked out that outfit, but that hair can't go with that outfit. You have really sad eyes. Which one of these looks fancy? This isn't necessarily fancy. This is a kid's updo. Why is this brighter? This is just a claw clip. That won't do. I mean, this could work. This is fine. That's fine. Oof. That's a lot of braids. I don't think the original hair is quite that long. But then this would be like undoing the braids. I think we're gonna have to go with this one. Even though the scalp texture is kind of weird. Yeah. We could put a hat on this one. Or like a headpiece. Something. Let's see. What is that? I mean, cool, but like, why? But the goths are a legacy I don't give a shit. See, I was hoping for something with like the little veil thing, but it sticks forward instead of down. Ooh, we could make her wear a hijab. No, I don't think that would be right. Not when we're trying to Smash the Grim Reaper. Biscuit gets a treat. Biscuit does not need any more treats today. I am sorry. You can... Let me refund you. Ugh. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hello, Eddie. Don't know how to do that from the streamer side. Wait, where is it? Requests. Reject. There you go. Cool. I wish I could access that in OBS. I want a doc for that. Is there a mod, like a plugin? I don't think a hat's gonna save us from this outfit. This dress is just a poor choice. Maybe the other one. See, that's better. I think it was just a bad shape on you. We'll go with that one. What is that? Are you a bull? You don't need all that. Does it come in black? Is the only question. Everything must be solid black. These are red. There you go. Nope. Nope. I mean, fine. Them. Sure. Wait, your head, your bonnet. There you go. Man, you are much too old for that. Wait, how old are you? There you go. You are much too old for that. Black. There you go. Ugh, I don't know about that dress. There might be. Feel free to keep the change next time. Keep the change. These boots just aren't it. And why? What is the point of a shoe? Black boots? Will that save it? I don't care that much. What are those? What are those? Like, this weird cuff thing is really throwing me off. I kind of like the metal piece on the toe. Well, what the fuck? You need a necklace or something. Necklace. In silver. A key? Is that formal? Probably not. This is boring, though. And it's also the wrong kind of silver. That's fine. No. Sure. No. 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 Mm-mm. Caprice. Oops. You're so exposed. Not those. What is that? Why do you have tiny shorts? Why is that from the Get to Work pack? I have so many questions and no answers. I don't understand why people wear wide leg pants. I feel like those aren't flattering on anybody. Again with the wide. It's a special type of work. Do explain. No, 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 no. It's all wrong. It's with the wide leg pants that looks flattering on nobody. We might have to stick with the capris. The one pair of capris in existence. And some nice flats. There you go. Winter. This is offensive to mine eyes. My go-to. Ooh, that's cool. What the heck? Funeral director? We can be a funeral director? That feels old. Anyway, my go-to is usually this. The dark color, but there's no black one of that. Unfortunate, huh? Is this... This doesn't look warm. Funeral director would be a good to summon Grim. I can't in SFW. Don't be sus. Why be sus when you can be asleep? This ruins it. I just want a plain beanie. There we go. Now she looks like a fucking hipster. And it doesn't even cover her ears. The whole point of wearing a winter hat is to cover your ears. I have a hat like this. A wide brim one. Yep, I do. It's hanging by my door. Can't see gremlins haunt my dreams. Nuh-uh. How about that? Alright. Traits. Practice makes perfect. What is that? Interesting. Those never change. Skeptical. Not entirely trusting of the majority of things you see or hear. Skeptical Sims like to challenge the universe to provide concrete proof that something is indeed as it might appear. Macabre. Yes. Embrace your inner darkness and your occasional intrusions of light. Macabre Sims. Do you know how long it took me to learn how to pronounce that word? A long time. Are about being their best unique sim self while still reveling in all that life and the afterlife has to offer. Macabre. M-A-C-A-B-R-E. Well, you can make an accident-prone one now. That's cool. Nosy. Nosy funeral director sounds about right. Conflicts with macabre. You can be cheerful and interested in death things. That's dumb. I want a mod that takes that off. I want a cheerful macabre sim. It'll be childish. Or we could just be a goofball. Which gets us the same thing. Love bugs. Sims with this trait is swept up in the whirlwind of romance. They love easily, often wearing their hearts on their sleeves. Ugh. What a sassy pose. Sure, whatever, Miss Hadley. Alright. And thus it begins. We gotta figure out how to get a job at the funeral hall. We're starting in winter. Because it's fucking Christmas. Ravenwood. Is there a starter home here? Out the funeral home? Well, I wasn't trying to live there. Also, I can live wherever I want. I just have to own a plot of land. Whoop. Hello? 3 bedrooms for 20? There is nothing in this house. Guarantee. Why is it so green? Alright, chat. The spooky scenario begins. Alright guys, welcome home. I have not... I literally just bought this pack. Ooh, I don't remember the controls. Alright. Cute. Trashy TV. Why? What the fuck? Is this supposed to be a bedroom? Bucket list. Make a bucket list. Write a goal from a category. I want to get busy. I want a great family. There you go. We write our goal down in the book. There's a hole in our floor. Sleep in the coffin because you're edgy. You want me to... This is my bed? What if there's a corpse in it? Claim. Alright, that's our bed. Drag sim remains or occupied burial casket to sign... Occupied burial casket? I can have my own graveyard? Oh my gosh, I'm right next to fishing. That's cool. What's over here? Is that the Grim Reaper? Weeping Mother. Oh no, that's a ghost. A very creepy ghost. How dare you? Oh my god. There's just ghosts everywhere now. It's crazy. Why is there posters on this window? This must be town. Whoa. This... I get the feeling I'm not meant to live here. Everybody seems very dead in this area. Except for us. Grim, come get the... Oh, goodness. Oh, we need a job. Or else we can't have money. Business. Find a job. We must become a funeral... Is that tarot cards? It must be in a Sims inventory. Here you go. We do witchcraft now. Draw daily reading.
Burn the witch!
We can just get a job as the Grim Reaper. Also, it's a playable... Is it playable? It is a playable job. What? Bruh. We could just be the Grim Reaper, a romance consultant. Undertaker. That's it. We're not the Grim Reaper. Our kid will be a Grim Reaper. We're an Undertaker. Justice reversed. Hi, Zen. Hello. You see, Renji, if I hadn't streamed this late, Zen would have never found me. I like that you have 3 speeds of your spinning. It's like winding up. I love that. Hello, baby Zen. Beware, you may be headed down a moral path fit for the pit. While your actions feel frivolous now, your choice is not a baby. Renji said you're a baby. Can only go unnoticed for so long before it's time to pay the piper. Telling a joke or letting the house get dirty is desired. Oh, you want my house to get that dirty? Spiritual avoidance have gotten stale. Change has been... But it would feel like changing things would be far too difficult. What if What are you doing with that? Spy on Esther. Why are we spying on Esther? There's a ghost coming to visit. Mysterious merchant. Hello. Why am I? Oh, I'm nosy. That's why. I'm currently on duty, but yippee. On duty? On duty for what? Invite neighbors in. As macabre sim, these sims are a little off-kilter and revel in morbid facts of life and the afterlife. I expect your sim to feel elated while doing dire activities they might consider to be très gothique. How's everyone feeling today? Well, it is midnight for me and 6 a.m. for Renji, who should be sleeping! Not too bad. Ads! Gavot. Givate. And they also have ability to spread gloom. Spread gloom? Hence. Oh, did I make... Oh, my bad. My bad, Esther. Friendly introduction. Offer tarot reading. He's just playing with going through the... There's festivals! Afterlife Anonymous occurs every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 to 11. Interesting. For you. Okay, you... Why is he called a mysterious merchant? What does he have to sell me? You can choose the ghost's color. Oh, I made him sad. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. We were suspicious. Somebody brought food. Ooh, pen de muerto. Hey. What do you purchase? Authentic pre-made will. Oh, interesting. Why are you pulsating? Friendly introduction. All my friends are ghosts. Whose photo? Oh, we're good compatibility, but that's because I didn't select any likes or dislikes. I see dead people. I see a lot of dead people. I don't know what this green is supposed to be. Blue, this dark blue is usually sad. This is supposed to be inspired. I don't... Energized? Are you energized? Strange inspiration. Euphoric presence. Oh, you are euphoric. It would be cool if you could have a trait where it's like, can't see ghosts. That'd be neat. Can you guys get out of my house? I have to go work out. Excuse me. Energized drug. The light blue reminds me of Force Ghost from Star Wars. It's creativity. Try to go to sleep or else I will self-combust. Whoa, I need one of those emotes. All these people are in my house. Today, Gothic being deliciously macabre. Dabbling in dark delights rouses Cheryl's rapture. Cheryl, why are you wearing jewelry to go running? She's just a fancy little lady. Okay, he's not a special ghost. Are you ready to combust? Who are you? Bjorn? Hey, look at all that. Look at a graveyard. Oh my god, a live one. Who are you? I'm fireproof. Is the spinning you winding up to combust? Alright. Can you jog faster? Also, it's winter. Aren't you cold? Why did I lose you again? Are we active? Sure. Whatever you want to do, Cheryl. You're not our sim. You're not the star of the show. You're the prequel. The boring prequel nobody actually wants to watch. Get out of my house, people. Take a shower. How do I make everybody go home? Okay, good. They left. And they cleaned their mess. Okay, enjoy fitness. Cheryl, what are you doing? Come take a shower. Did you already take a shower? Use the bathroom. Acid puzzle? What? Acid puddle? Hydrate, I just took a drink. Take a shower. Take a shower! Okay, there's no more mud anywhere. You just took a shower. Okay, Cheryl, it's time for bed. Why are you eating yogurt? It's time to go to sleep. Sleep! I had a thing that said to let my house get dirty, so that's what I'm gonna do. Whoa. The fog was very flashy and the speed up stuff. Why is this pond sparkly? Look at those skeleton fish. Wade here. No, don't go in the mysterious water. Do go fish over there. Cannot fish in extreme cold. Oh. But the fish are excited to be caught. Look at them jump. And the skeleton fish. We need one of those. The eyebrows is really weird. Goodbye! It's about time. Work out more. I should finally get married. Yeah, bitch, once we find the Grim Reaper, you can go do that. Go jogging. Go. Fast. And then come up here. And do push-ups. Turning the volume down doesn't do anything. Exercise. Do sit-ups. Exercise. Stretch. Exercise. Do sit-ups. No, leave things dirty. Yippee, I win. I've been telling him I'm gonna go to bed forever, so I win. Sit-ups. Are we done working out yet? Alright, now we're done. Can we clean up? Is it okay to clean up now? Okay, Cheryl, go back to sleep. When is... Oh, we gotta go to work. Cheryl, stop sleeping. Cheryl, stop sleeping. Go to work. You cringe, bitch. Work hard, Cheryl. Oh. Thanatology skill? You want me to stay awake? I will suffer for stubbornness. You don't have to prove your stubbornness to anybody, bud. Go to bed. While doing rounds, Cheryl notices a rather large crack running down the center of old stone. Strange sigils like carved into the sides, and the sad aura envelops them as Cheryl draws near. Upon a closer look, Cheryl sees the grave sits caked in dirt, barely legible. Wonder why no one has come to visit or bring flowers. Is it cursed or just forgotten? Either way, clean it. Excuse me. It's a little over grease. Performance gain small. Free money. No thanks. Minus the crack, of course. Before leaving, Cheryl runs their fingers along the sigils. What strange carvings? A chill passes over Cheryl before turning to leave. Are we cursed? What is this? Give a tarot reading. You can give yourself a tarot reading. Take a shower. I've seen fractured so many times in chat, but this is the first time I've heard them. Nice to finally catch one of your trees. Okay. Like I said, it's midnight for me. From what I understand, you have a very different times. It might be a little difficult. Ah, mom's in the shower, guys. Don't look. But that was a good day of work. We cleaned a grave and got chills down our spine. Can we go fishing now? I want a skeleton fish. Dope. We can go fishing. So Zen, what's your lore? Joke's on you. I have something called a bad sleep schedule. Nice. Obviously, as do I, but I work a actual dumb job, so I have to sleep sometimes. I get yelled at, and then somebody has the audacity to yell at me about my sleep and then also not sleep. Wonder who that could be. And you're both nagging me. Yeah, so you're one to talk. Screw you! You do the same thing. You were literally just nagging me the other day. Oh, that was about eating. Same thing. My lore, I do have a preliminary document if you'd like to read it. Document? Shush, the adults are talking. As in, you're a baby. Is there a 19 in your birth year? I'm older than both of you. Yeah, old man, you need sleep. Go take a nap. Can we catch the skeleton fish, my guy? Catch it faster, mother. Too crafty for Cheryl. Valuable bait. Cheryl, what is this? Clean this up. Alright. We need to invite someone alive. Yeah, I'm 19. What was 19? 2000? Not that long ago. You are an infant. A fetus. I'm very wealthy, and just last month I bought Social Bunny and Cupid's Corner. Just straight up bought them. You caught my eye, and I was hoping to get the chance to meet you in person. I know it's a lot to ask, but I have gifts for you. What do you say? No thanks, weirdo. What the fuck do you mean? What do I say? Oh wait, is this... What is this? Huh. What is this? Why is there coffee over here? That's why baby's in. But in a nutshell, he's basically a robot made in the image of an engineer's deceased son. War happened, trauma, and he crash landed on Irch. MFAO. This box is possessed. I can pull rank on you. Rank? What kind of rank do you have over? Cheryl, go here. Attend the meeting. Go here. What is this? Wealthy weirdo rejected. We feel confident. I don't respect authority. Earth. Hello. Friendly introduction. What are you guys doing? What you guys doing? Why do you have a cell phone? Megumi Saito. Mutual attraction to Felix. Who's Felix? You? We're not smashing a ghost. We gotta go find someone to lure to our house after this. And... murder. I'm a sergeant in my national service. Oh. That's what you meant on duty. What the fuck? The Grim Reaper is calling! Chat! Chat, the Grim Reaper called us. It's meant to be. I mean, yeah, sure. I'll do that, sure. If Reaper Daddy wants us to be a Grim Reaper with Reaper Daddy, we will do it. We were supposed to be, Grim Turn. We were supposed to be smashing the Grim Reaper, but... Army Raw. Why are you backwards? Angie? Oh, is that you pouting? You have pointy ears. I literally have a rifle. Weird flex, but okay. Dude, she is loving this. Console others from attending Afterlife Anonymous. Console. How do I console? More choices. Friendly. Do you need consoling? Whoops. No, not funny. That's not the vibe. Do you need consoling? Would you like a tarot reading? I can read your future. Mortimer's Mortuary. Mortimer? Like Mortimer Goth? We went to work as a undertaker for one job. Shoot me if you're brave enough. Don't shoot Renji. I'll use you for spare parts. Console ghost. Console. I literally can. No, you can't. You know, you may have a rifle, but it doesn't shoot that far, bud. And stop talking about shooting people in chat, please. Riot bullets. Regardless, you should probably not say that you're going to shoot somebody. Why are we spying? Do you need consoling? Friendly introduction. Are you winding down now? When do we go to work? 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Why is Grim Reaper work a 9 to 5 gig? The fuck? Alright, we need to... Is that him? This is an elder. Whoa, they got a greenhouse. This house is cute. I want a greenhouse. Dude, I really wish I could have a greenhouse. What is that? A ghost cow plant? Oh, for the love of God, please don't get us eaten by a cow plant. I'm getting the slippers in. You have failed. The ancestors are disappointed. Kids are so rude nowadays. Nah, I said I'm sorry. What is slippers in? Don't be mad. What? Are you the Grim Reaper? Ugh, you're still the Elder. The Elder... We can't do a Grim Reaper that's... Where are you walking? Oh. Where are you? There's a lot of ghosts here. We can't kill ghosts. They're already dead. This is getting the chancla. Oh. Oh, I see. I see what's happening. Aizen. We have to pee. What is this? Ooh. Oh, he feels better, pet. This is our friend now. Alright, time to go home before we get eaten. Go home. We fed the ghost. Sorry again for my comments earlier. No worries. Yes, it's also a ghost. He was cranky because nobody feed him. I know some cultures ghosts are hungry, but generally in this, I don't think ghosts are hungry. But now that they're playable ghosts, maybe they will be hungry. You used to have to mod like crazy to be able... Glorbin? The ghost is Glorbin. Glorbin. Okay. We have to pee so bad that we just wanna... Our dream is to use the toilet. We can make our toilet the heirloom. You must keep this with you for decades. For what is that? For generation to generation, we pass down the sacred toilet of our ancestors. Uh-oh. There's ghosty shit happening here. Right, today we're going to go find a live one. Ectopuddle. Pesky ghosts leave behind ectopuddles to disturb the living. You mean they just, like, ghost pee all over? This toilet has been in our family for 15 generations, and you broke it. You clogged it. Alright. We need to do a travel. We need to find a victim. What are you doing? We need to go to Club Eternity. The seat of royalty. I mean, there is a fancy toilet. It's very expensive. It's like 15,000 simoleons. Whoa, this club is cool as shit. Look at that. There's a ton of ghosts. There's no live ones in here. This is fucking cool. One of my favorite aesthetics. Goth shit. I'd rather dress like cyberpunk, though. These are all dead. Time to travel again. Is there a second floor? There is. These are all dead bitches. We need live bitches. Such an on-brand background. See, even if I was doing in the club, we all fam. Someone rein in your child. I don't have the horsey pack. Can you tell I wasn't a horse kid? Blah, 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 blah. There's no club in Forgotten Hollow. This one? Is there a club over here? No, this one's... This one, that's where it is. I need someone to translate Gen Z for me. The big club. This club. This one. You get the whole shoe rack. Oh, yes, you were perfect. Friendly introduction. For saying Skibbity and Alpha. Would you like to come to my house? Offer a tarot reading. I think it's deserved. I'll allow it. Throw another shoe rack in there. I am not Gen Z. No. 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 No, no, no. There's a 19 in the year I was born. Thank you very much. All the bonks. You got Twitch working? Yeah. I restarted my modem. I don't know what it was. My Wi-Fi didn't want to connect. Collect tarot cards. 26. How many cards do we have? There's not 26 cards. Nightly reading. Admire possessions or selling something as desired. Ooh, evil reverse. You must step out of the shadows, overcome your attachments, accept your habits, and you free yourself from the puppeteer pulling your strings. Don't encourage my sim to pull free from my strings. Hey, where'd he go? Hey, 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 hey. Lie about career. I am not a Grim Reaper. If somebody walks up to you and they're like, "Hi, I am not the Grim Reaper," how uncomfortable would you be? So, get out of here. I need him. Tell funny story. We're funny, right? What is this? I don't know how to do that. Place tarot deck from look for tarot tome shrines. Oh, great. We gotta go hunt. No, you. Both of you need bonks. He looks sad. He'd probably be okay. Hey, do you want to come over to my house? Friendly. Excuse me, don't walk away. Discuss healthy relationships and how they don't start with someone trying to kill you. Where'd he go? God damn it! Where the fuck? Where is he? There he is. Goof around. No, don't watch that. Stop running from us! Friendly, small talk. Get to know. We need to not be friends. Then you doesn't scare nor control me. They can't help you. I'd back away and walk the opposite direction. Like he just did. He's a geek. Okay, come to my house. More choices. Interests. What do you like? I like dead things. I know Zen doesn't scare nor control you. I wasn't trying to scare nor control you, but you really should fucking sleep, bro. Stop running away from me. Stop. 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 More choices, more choices. Where'd the hangout go? Ask to hang out. Do you want to come over to my place and hang out? Where are we? Why is this not following? Cool. Hey, do you want to come over to my house? Follow me to my house. Come to my house. More choices. How do I invite him over? I don't remember. Travel? Travel? Yes, travel. Cool, cool, cool. Keeps telling me that Zen is talking to me. If a random person told me to go to their house and they like death stuff, I would just either try to get as far away as possible or try to be unbelievably brain rotty that they don't want to try anymore. That would not work. Cheryl is very determined to smash the Grim Reaper. Don't use the angel emote in the sentence that says, I like talking to you, Renji. Ugh. I'm kidding, for the record. Hey, come, go here. Actually, hey, wait, stop. I got the plan, guys. Where is he? Where'd he go? Where's the door? Choices, actions, add to group. Okay, we go here together. And then we gotta take this bed out. Put this in storage. Okay? There we go. So we'll go upstairs. I'm gonna put a window. Shut up, Sundere fracture. As if people don't know what else is. Ugh! Shut up. Don't call me Sundere. I don't know why. I'm not that interesting. Renji is actually super fascinating. One time he told me, he... Oh, dang. How am I going to get out of here? Hold on. Okay. Me go here. Me go here. Go here. Okay, good. Yes, nice. Sell this. And we'll put a window. Which one of these windows is creepier? Let's just copy this window. The skinny legend. I put the walls up. There we go. We can watch it happen. There we go. The victim has been caught, chat. The victim has been caught. Fracture is Sundere confirmed. No! No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not Sundere. Where's the dollhouse view? Where am I? What? Why are you sleeping there? Sleeping coffin. This is bed. It's snowing. No, it's not. You're a liar. Damn, when will Fracture use the word baka on stream speedrun? Ew. Alright, listen, I'm fucking cringe shit. But I ain't that kind of cringe shit, okay? He's just completely unaware of the trouble he is in. Let me put a wall around to make this space even smaller. There we go. Now he can't escape. That's great. Great stuff. Oops. There's a window and you can just see this sad sap in a 2x1 square rectangle, whatever, in front of a window, playing Tetris, completely unawares of the future that is waiting for him. Soon, we'll find the Grim Reaper, and we will smash. Yes. Yes. This will be brilliant, I tell you. It's only a matter of time. Aliens, Tetris magic. Wait, this is a wizard. He can't teleport, can he? Surely not. We need to eat. Oh my gosh. I don't even... Okay, send alone. Renji's probably asleep now. Good for them. Yeah! He probably passed out. It's almost 7. Holiday objects. No, we don't need that. That's too cheerful. We need this guy to die. I don't even think he can lay down. Milestone. Oh. Interesting. What milestone did we get? No turn on or turn offs. Likes fitness. Non-physical romance triggers jealousy. Romantic boundaries exploring. Physical romance and woohoo both trigger jealousy. The default. He's gonna pee himself. We look creepy. You guys can't see, but we look very creepy. Let me move chat. Chat, let me move you for a moment, okay? I'll show you how creepy you look. Where is the chat? You guys see how creepy you look? This is how creepy mom is down here. Down here. Valentina Nadir is in. You've been selected for the 7 Wild Dates romance-based reality show. If you choose to participate, you will be tasked with having 7 consecutive perfect dates with hidden cameras, recording your every move. If you complete all dates perfect, you will be awarded the grand prize. By signing up for this, you consent being filmed for the next week. My love is not for sale. I'm sorry. I'm here to smash the Grim Reaper, no one else. You stole the first tag from Renji. Congratulations. Now you're triggering Moobot. Day usually does that. Day is known for triggering Moobot. I don't know why Moobot hates Day so much. But now it's you. Congrats. The totem has been passed. We are tense from work. Being an intern as a Grim Reaper is not great. You have 1 day remaining to reach your soul quota before Grim reviews the reaping reports. What? Yippee! Attend an active work day. Well, he's stinky now. Feel honored. Yippee. Yippee. What was that? Why did it fall? There you go. There's a yippee. Felix texted me. A ghost has messaged me, and I missed it. Oh well. Stop sleeping there. There's even a bed upstairs. If you don't want to sleep in the coffin, you could sleep here. Don't worry, I will do your dishes for you. I think we have to go do the Grim Reaper-y stuff. I was kind of hoping to catch this guy dying. He's really stinky, so... We're gonna kill the only human we've ever spoken to. Gonna be working a bit more, so I'm alert. Happy to catch you and chat a bit. Have a nice rest of your team. Bye, Zen! There's too many people with Z's. Zen, Zed. Gonna leave a message to you later. Eh? Message where? Dust bunnies. Oh no. Okay. That's my cue to lock the door. For vampires. No trespassing. Disallow vampires. Oh my gosh. We need a vacuum. Discord. Vacuum. 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 Alright. Is that an electronic or an appliance? It's a Plume Bop ceiling fan. Interesting. Oh my gosh, we buy this vacuum and can't afford anything else. Is there a cheaper one? No? Maybe appliance. Miscellaneous. What's that? Oh, there it is. See, that's cheaper. There we go. That'll work. Vacuum the house. Vacuum the house. Vacuum. How do you use the handheld? Is it because I'm sleeping? Well, I can vacuum that. Why? Why can I vacuum that? Why can I vacuum the shower? That's weird. Throw away. Is he dying yet? You are a very dirty, stinky man. Do you know that? Very dirty, very stinky. Yeah, you are. You should just keel over, actually. Goodbye. Where are we going? Why did the camera do that? Stop! I'm trying to watch. I want to watch. I want you to look in my eyes while you're pass. You sad, gloomy bitch. We are watching TV. Vacuum this lightly. Goodbye. Can I vacuum up here lightly? Vacuum this lightly. I wish ending the holiday didn't give any sad shit. I just don't want to participate in the holiday, man. I'm gonna put the bed back in this room. Because I'll forget. Dang, it's a holiday today, guys. We have an illness? Oh my god. Go to work. Let's go to work. We'll work on a day off. We got nothing else to do till this guy goes away. It's the festival. Starting Morningvale neighborhood of Ravenwood. Stop by, play game chance with Grim Turn, or learn more about the Reaper career. Receive a tarot reading. Offer gifts to the guardian tree. There's also food, dancing, and a mysterious merchant. Whoa. The festival's happening in this neighborhood. Where? But I assume by the weird tree. It is. What you guys got going? Where are you? Tarot reader. You're very on the nose with how you look. Grim turn. The ghosts are flirting. Who's this? Oh, the mysterious merchant. Order of Lenore. A teen? Why is he flirting with ghosts? Cringe. Oh gosh, he's glitching out. All right. Where's my house? Anyway, back to watching this guy. Excuse me, sir. Sir. Wouldn't it be nice if this would just all be over? It's up to you. Speed, train, alien. Squid, train, rocket. Wait, why are we playful? Oh, illness. Go here. Exercise. Do push-ups. Do push-ups in front of him. Be like, oh wow, look at all this room I have. Exercise. Do sit-ups. What is that? Collect a soul. Oh. Soul quota. Uh-oh. Haven't been doing that. Draw a nightly reading. I don't have family. We're familyless. We're fixing your phone line. Don't pick it up the next time someone calls. Hey, wait. Do you want to hang up? Okay. Hung up. What is this? Clean that up. Die, man. Die. It's been like 3 days. He hasn't even said that he needs to go home either. Yeah. It's okay, we have another reality show idea. Love Island Crumple Bottom edition. This is going to be great. Oh my god, Crumple Bottom? Oh, he did say he needed to leave. Okay, stop. Time to sleep. You will die. And you will bring the Grim Reaper here. Scary decor. What's the scary decor in your room? What do you have that's scary in here? There's nothing scary in this decor. What the heck? What do you mean? You don't even have decor. Ooh, he's tired now. Come on. I had moved the chat back down. Ah. Put this back here. Back in the day, our problem was Chad Chadius. Now it's Simeon Silverwater. Water? I can't see. He's shuffling around too much. Why are we scared of the decor? We're macabre. Shouldn't we love the decor? TV season premiere. cook. What should we have? Good old garden salad. What time is the season premiere? Watch season premiere. Just kidding. Don't do any of that stuff. Go to the bathroom. And then watch the season premiere. And then have a garden salad. Have breakfast. Sure. Work starts in an hour. Send alone. I have to babysit your victim. I think if I leave with you... I just cleared something I didn't get to read. Did we get to watch it? Okay, cool. We finished it. And it surpassed our expectations. Nice. Can you work hard and get a soul while you're over there? Because, like, I can't leave the house. Can't come with you because I have to babysit this guy. That way I can tell you to get here fast. He'll die eventually, right? My monkey eraser is missing his tummy. I ripped his head off. Monkey. We're stinky. But you know what we can do that he can't do? Bathe. Oh, there's a random candle. What is that? Wait, our window's broken. What is that? Supposed to be plaster? Why does it look like a teddy bear with a weird face? See the ears? Dazed. Mental fog from starting burnout. Well, leave early. No. Normal. Work normal. Take a shower. And then you can go for a jog. You like that, right? One day remaining would reach your soul quota before Grim reviews. Is there not enough space for him to die? Do I need to make it a little bit bigger? There you go. You need a desk square now. Full Moon Revelry. Whisper Glen. Whoa. I hate that lamp. No, we're not gonna be friends with him. Go for a jog. It's time for you to die so that we can find the Grim Reaper. Can we take a vacation tomorrow? Take a vacation day. Ouch. Ow. My shoulder. Babes, stop sleeping on the couch. There's a bed. There's a coffin. Pick one. Alright. Have dinner. Onigiri. Man, I want some onigiri. I'd love some onigiri. It sounds delicious. Go on. Fall over. Inventory. I think the space is too small, so he can have a little more room. This, put that in inventory. Good. And this is ugly. Sell it. The murder room, guys. It's cozy, isn't it? Vibe killer? Yeah, who chased all the delight? Oops. Oh my god! Delightful darkness out of Cheryl. Talk about a buzzkill. Who killed your vibe? Soul's Journey? Huh. Cheryl's bucket list. Finally get married. Yeah, if we could ever find the Grim Reaper. Wait, do you think he's in our contacts? Flirt? No. Work? No. How do we find the Grim Reaper, but faster? Because this guy does not want to die. Plan a funeral. Where's just the chat button? What's wrong? Horrible shower. Well, you could always try again. The shower. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Or destroy all evidence that you ever did try. Why is the fog inside the house? I feel like that's not what you want. Assign a sim portrait. No. Household. Ah. Interesting. How's he looking? It's not even passing out. He's beat himself like 3 or 4 times now. Go. Are you sad? Lonely? Can I teleport? No. But that would help his social need. Oh, wait. That's funny. Entertainment. Social bunny. No. Wait. Cheryl, wake up. Vacuum this. He's got a friend. Talk to yourself in the mirror. We need to go find a friend. Or you know what? The ghosts have phones. Why can't we chat with the ghost? Whatever, browse the web. Oh my god, Cheryl. Vacuum. There's dust bunnies everywhere. They ruined the darkness with their light colors. My guy, die faster. Nah, I'm not above cheats. I know a thing or two about testing cheats true. Okay? I'm about to deplete his needs all at once. So he keeps entertaining himself with his goddamn phone. I may have picked the wrong sim to try to mortar. Write a bucket list goal. Alright, you can do that. Bucket list. Right goal. What you want? What did you add? Draw lightly reading. This could be our heirloom. Oh. Find an expensive or television. Alright. I don't know how much money we have. Or we can afford a television. Especially if we sell the other one. Sell. Room. TV. Yeah, nice bigger one. Nice. We're broke as shit now, Cheryl. Ta-da! You did it. All tapped out. Admire this. Look at that. Alright. Watch New Year's Eve television. See? It's great. You just bought a new TV and we're broke as shit now. Oops. Make this the heirloom. Our tarot deck is the heirloom. Can this be an heirloom? Express melancholy thoughts. And go for a jog. Go jogging. I'm fine, sorry. Their heirloom will be designated via their will, which can be started via a computer by scheduling a meeting with an inheritance lawyer on the phone. Huh? Cheryl Hadley's quaint crow-skin journal. What is that? Family Day? Oh, she finally went to sleep. Ooh, what the flip is this? A lemon tree. Harvest all the lemons. And then sell them, Cheryl. Sell. Sell the lemons. Look at that. We made money off of random lemons you found. Good job. Wait, there's a person. Better yet, let's go investigate this tree thing. Must complete Alice's sorrow first. Listen to whispers. There's a creepy doll and ghost shit over here. Oh, this is Alice. Who are you? Katrina Caliente. Goodbye. Stop playing on your phone. How are you surviving just from Tetris alone? We're miserable. We need to talk to somebody. Do ghosts count? Excuse me. Funny introduction. Stop. Don't listen to the whispers. Hello. Friendly chat interest. What do you like? Do you like stuff? I like stuff. All kinds of stuff, actually. Dead stuff. After dead stuff. Alfred, I like tarot cards. Where does one find the totem thingies? Been acting like their normal self lately. It's been very scared and a bit paranoid. Now, we're more macabre. Are you good? Cool. Where is a totem? So I can add to this deck. What is that? Underground cribs. Napping crib. Neat. I like that stained glass. It's a little Grim Reaper. It's cute. Is this a house? Or is this the club? That's a club. Ring bell at the bell tower. What's that? I click it and it's like, what's this? Oh, it's just a dumb decoration. We feeling better? Goosebumps getting spooked. What is all this? You, son. Something ain't right. We're hungry. We'll go home and deal with that. Go home faster. It keeps stop tracking her. Them. I just remembered that the pronouns are them. Ah, my guy. I want you to die. How do I... Is there another way to summon the Grim Reaper? To summon the Grim Reaper Sims 4. Hello? Hello, welcome to the program. Gramophone. Not even gramophone if you unlocked it. But a gramophone unlocks more and then go back to live mode. You can summon the Grim Reaper. Deck, crystal stuff back. The gramophone. I don't, it says if you have it unlocked though. I don't think I unlocked anything. Living room, audio. Oh. Not that. I don't see. Yeah, I don't have gramophone. It's just this thing. I don't know if it was talking about The Sims 4 either. Starving a sim takes too long. It really do. This is cool though. Heirloom eligible. Cute. Well, Googling it was a bust. This guy just doesn't want to starve fast enough. See. Close your eyes. I don't know if this... No. Testing. There we go. Deplete your needs. Cheat need. No. I want you to be... I mean, there's a kill button. Last time I did that, though, the game got... I need to save. The game got confused. It was part of the Reaper rewards. I haven't done any of the Reaper stuff yet, though. It's also not in the buy mode. So do I have to actually leave? But if I leave, he might disappear. He might be able to escape my grasps. I could just kill him. He's slain by vicious killer rabbit. See, that's killing me, I think. My sim. I don't want to... I guess we'll have to try the go to work thing, huh? In 2 days. Oh no! It's unfortunate. He's your boss? I know, but it says I haven't met him. I got a call from him telling me to come join the Reaper career, and I was like, alright, if you insist. So we did, because we were Undertakers for a day. Cringe. Sleeping in the coffin. I take it you've been playing the Life and Death pack, huh? Ugh. Usually this doesn't take this long. He doesn't even seem all that off. He's just dirty and kind of sleepy. He hasn't even said he was hungry. Are you immortal? You shouldn't be immortal. You've died in previous plays. Just watching streams. We are sleeping. Oh, look, it's spring. You managed to survive a whole season. Whatever your name was. Simeon. Can you just stop surviving? It's okay. Oh, are you hungry now? Did you just say you were hungry? Are you starving? That's great news. Awful holiday. We're lonely. Ah, Snowy! Good morrow, dear friend. Why are you lobbing oil at me? How you doing? It's so early. Probably not. I did not realize that there was a shower up here. I've been using the downstairs one. Shouldn't this be a half bath then? Why is it a whole bath? There's not even bedrooms down here. It's a weird design choice. Well, I mean, I guess if you use this as a bedroom. Just woke up, so a bit sleepy. Not to be the voice of unreason here. But you could that. Who designed this house? What is this? You could always go back to sleep. Man, who knew that Tetris could be life-sustaining? I can't sleep past 3 a.m. 3 a.m.? Why not? That sounds not good. Crinkles. I gotta have a snack. I'm more hungry than the guy that hasn't eaten in 5 days. Friday. I thought you left. Are we sleeping on the couch again? Oh no, that's the coffin. The casket. You know, I tried to go look for one of them totem things so it can get more tarot cards. But I really don't know what they look like for one. There's this drowned bridge. That's interesting. We can't go that way. There's another crypt. There's a bird! Deviously fine. Wake up! Come talk to this bird. Come here. Hurry. Hurry. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Stop sleeping. I can't click anything. Uh-oh. Been lurking. Oh no. I think my game is broken. I think I saved pretty recently, so we didn't lose anything. I didn't break it. I was just trying to not sleep anymore so I could go talk to the bird. It's definitely broken now, though. Rip. Oh. Did I hear that? You mean the thing they announced 2 years ago? Yeah. They mentioned that a long time ago, and I don't know. I don't think I want them to make anything multiplayer. They didn't say what it was going to be the multiplayer thing. They just said their next project's called Project Renee. So it was kind of obvious it wasn't going to be Sims 5. I want to give EA no more money. But I have a Sims addiction and there's nothing competing with it. Well, they're not going to make a Sims 5 until they see if Project Renee flops or not. They will always do what gets them money. I have to crash the game. Oh gosh, I can't even close the game. In task. It's like super broke. Oh, there it goes. Let's try again. Say dag deals on packs up to 60% off. No thanks. I don't want it. I lost my settings. I forgot my settings. Exactly. EA can get nothing. They've already done weird stuff to this. I forgot to change the settings so it's full screen. Ignore that bar. Full screen. Apply. Alright, let's go see if that bird's still there. Yes. Go here. Hurry up. Run. And talk to him. Socialize. Cool. What is a pretty birdie? We did it. We made it to the bird. Discuss nefarious plans. I've got a man in my upstairs that I'm going to murder in order to get the Grim Reaper to smash. He's impressed. Teach mimicry. Where are you going? Sit here and talk to the bird. You want to socialize? Show affection. Whose bird is this? Socialize. Cool. Oh, he's gone. Time to go back home. And we also have to pee. Oh no, the cow plant's hungry again. Is there an interaction I can tell him to eat the cow cake? Excuse you? Why are you clean? He reset, guys. No. Let's see. What appliance? Fire. Well, that's huge. Is there a tiny fire, perchance? Hmm. We have to make money. This is unfortunate. The game glitched and it reset that guy. We are hungry. Have a quick meal. Custard made of condensed milk. It's a bit like dessert in a cup. That sounds like I want to try it. Like IRL. Filipino summertime treat. These sound like not meals. They sound like snack. It's not a quick meal, that's a snack. Have breakfast. Eggs and toast. This says work in 2 days. He's really bored. Girl, I thought you were tired. Why are you watching TV? Romance skill? I have to get the romance skill up. Why is that the only social interaction I have? Why can't I chat with the ghost? We can flirt with the ghost? Earbuds have been added. Harvest all nearby plants. So we can make money and sell them. Or sell them and make money. Oh, he's finally passed out. It is only a matter of time now, Chet. No. I was doing it again. Why is this crashing? Alright, clearly Sims doesn't want to play today. Uh... Alright, I'm gonna end this here just because this isn't working. So you guys have a good one. Get some sleep. I'm gonna send a raid anyway. And I will see you tomorrow morning or afternoon. Bye-bye.